Yo, I just sort of go over a few of these things that are going around, like change.org. Here's what do you call them? Petition. Social distancing, no pay. Suspend all mortgage, rent bills, and issue salary substitute in Australia. So I remember years ago, oh, not that long ago, everybody that wasn't employed or was on the dole, we'd call them dole bludgers. Now everybody wants to get on the dole. Talk about sucking on the teat or whatever, you know. We already had most of them on there anyway that weren't unemployed. They were usually parents that were getting money off the government to subsidise their child's existence. That was technically dole bludging too, but each their own. So we're in the midst of a unprecedented crisis, apparently. This is a 1 in 100 year event. When was the last event? COVID-19. So I don't know where they're getting that from. If you're talking about the Great Depression, that had nothing to do with the virus. So I don't know where they're getting that from. So it's new. So you could say this has never happened before, would be a better thing to say than something like that. For the sake of the Australian people, it's time for the government and the banks who have made money off us for years to give some goodwill. Oh, wow, I love fantasy worlds. This is like, Marxism, isn't it? I don't know. People are a bit confused. Like, why would you want to suck on the government's teat? They're not your friend. And all of a sudden now you want to get on the teat. It's crazy. There's so much weird stuff going on. It was like the toilet paper swindle. Like, all the toilet paper went out and people bought it all or whatever. But it's like, do you think any of the people that panic bought and bought way too much were ever going to come back out and say, oh, actually, I probably bought too much? Is there anybody out there that needs any? Because of the stigma that got attached to that, name and shame a toilet paper hoarder, it was never going to happen. So there's probably people out there with truckloads of toilet paper hidden away in their house that they've not told you about because they didn't want to be labelled as a hoarder, or a panic merchant. So here's another. I'll find another one. So right, yeah, I found this interesting. Right, you got all these viruses in different spots. I hope it works, but where they are, and there's one in Altona. There's a few up here. Now, hang on a second. Here's your and so here are the 5G locations. So I open up here. We go over to Altona North. I showed you that. Up here, Tullamarine. I showed you that. This is where, call it coincidence, and you're going to see a lot of coincidences in the near future, people. I'm telling you now. But yeah, just a quick observation. Go and have a look at it a bit more because it's hard to show on the phone. But I'm just giving you a few things to do over this supposed break. It's so much better down here at the beach now with nobody around, which is handy. Hey. I put a question up the other day actually asking if I knew anybody in my friends list that actually has it. And I don't think there was anybody that could. There was a few people that could actually say that they knew somebody whose Vinnie's sister knows somebody who doesn't, or whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah, aside from that, it seems to be mainly celebrities like Tom Hanks or basketballers from the NBA. Magic Johnson's healthy still, which is convenient. I just don't know why in this time we've never had a shutdown before, like ever. Like it's all of a sudden this is a thing that we need to do. There's no logic to it at all. There's so many contradictory things out there, like people pressing a button on the toilet. How many times has that been pressed that you haven't cleaned it? Or opening the fridge at the milk bar. Well, they're shut now, I think. There's so many things that people have overlooked. You know, the plastic fly keeper outers at the front of the butcher or front of the shop. You know, usually the first point of call for the health department or whatever when they're checking your premises for hygiene would be taking a swab of those plastic door dividers. I haven't seen any of that happening, which is interesting. There's so many contradictory things going on, and I just can't get over how everybody's just not questioning what is this thing. Like seriously, if this was real, why have you got half a lockdown on? Like, you got some people that are staying home, then you got half these people that are going to work, and it's like we've got a lot of confusion. There's going to be some fights coming soon because, it's going to be very tense and very stressful. I don't know what we're going to do because you might think that you're above it or it's not going to affect you, but I think indirectly or directly, it's going to affect you in some way. And we've got two options, you can fight, but have a look at all the countries that supposedly were protesting, like France, Italy, Iran. They were all protesting, and then all of a sudden it all stopped. Like, especially France, when Macron, we know he's not a good bloke, he came out and they've cut all their utility bills and all this and put a freeze on all these things like rent or whatever. But they were just protesting for 12 months outside. They did every week they were out there. So what, all of a sudden they just stopped? It's really strange. It's really strange. We've got all these leaders all putting things in a lockdown, handing money out over they've got an open credit card, which they haven't. Because somebody's going to have to pay this back at some point, aren't they? We've got things going on everywhere. People are going to be very confused. But you know what? If we do get put into lockdown, it's going to give people time to possibly look into things they'd never looked into before. Some things will be wrong, and we're going to get a few people that might go down the wrong path, but hey, it means that people might be looking at stuff because there's no footy, so there's one more distraction out of the way, less sport. It's a good opportunity, but whether they do or not, that'll be the question. Maybe they'll be too busy sitting around counting their rolls of toilet paper. Who knows? But I was just curious with how everybody's got no idea what's going on and why it's happening. If they think it's really a virus, I think we would have shut down things for Ebola or SARS or many of these previous things, but all of a sudden now it's a thing. Like, we lost our immune systems. Is this what you're telling us? We're not capable of looking after ourselves. The same things you're practicing now for this, you'd be practicing for the flu or colds or anything at this point in time. Why weren't you cleaning these things in the first place? It's great now that venues have decided they want to be hygienic and finally clean their toilets, but, you should have been doing it anyway. So I hate seeing that thing, or we've increased our standard. What? Yeah. Oh, man, it's crazy. What you're probably going to find out maybe is that these people here that hang out in this place, they're not real. They're not really there. They're not really an actual thing. They're actually running under the guise of an actual thing, but they're actually pretend. And they're just taking your money. None of them have said, oh, look, we'll take a pay cut at all because we're going to be in lockdown. Have they even been in lockdown? No. Have they been? Did you see the press conference? Look, when they turn around to all the reporters and press, they're all standing like within 20 centimetres of each other. You might as well be licking each other's ears. It's just all hypocritical rubbish. None of this is real. The only thing is real is the coronavirus. Now, as soon as you work that out, you'll realise that there is no money. Where are they getting this money from? Oh, all of a sudden we're going to pump up that war. It doesn't even make sense. You need money to be able to do that. What's backing this thing? You're getting rolled globally, folks. Doesn't matter which country you're in. And they're all doing the same routine. Not one of them has actually had the balls to say, no, we're going to do this instead, because they're all doing the same narrative. This has been planned for years. If you think it was a bat in China that has started this in a wet market, you're dreaming. Show me where the virus is. It doesn't even exist. And we'll see. The truth will come out eventually. But at the moment, all we can do is enjoy the 2 weeks off, or however long it's going to be. It could be all year. The school kids might never ever go to school again at this rate. But hey, we'll see what happens. Thanks for listening. My rant is over. Have a good day.